And we are live. Hi, guys. Welcome to our YouTube live. This is an AMA session, which is an Ask Me Anything session. And today, my name is Aisha, and I'm in the marketing team at Newton School. For those of you who don't know who we are and what we do, we are a growing edtech startup, and we teach full stack development to anybody looking to. This is an AMA session, which is an Ask Me Anything who where we are looking to, if you're looking to upskill yourselves in the full stack development field, or if you're if you want to get into the tech field, then we teach you full stack development within a course of 5 months. And what is different about us is that you don't have to pay us anything until you get placed. So it's a zero upfront fee policy that we have. And we also have a team of mentors and trainers working in companies like Amazon, Ola, Swiggy, who are there to get you interview or job ready, right? So today we have with us Aalekh. Aalekh, can you wave to the camera?
Hi.
Hi, yeah. So Aalekh is our alumni, and he recently got placed at Unacademy. So we have him here to talk about his journey on being, a college student who was really confused as to how to go about becoming a full stack developer and how to get placed in a very good company, right? So Aalekh, generally speaking, how are you, and how is work going on right now?
So right now I'm all good, all set, and like I'm half month into my job even.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is working fine, and like due to coronavirus, we are working from home right now, so it's not something that it's to be worried about. So it's cool.
Yeah. So is this your first job?
No, it's my second job. So before
Okay.
this, I was working as a like a cyber security analyst in a service-based company.
Uh-huh.
So after that, I decided to actually thought of moving to a product-based company. So that's how I joined Newton School.
Okay. So, Alec, what was the main reason for you to look for a switch? What was this one thing that triggered you that you had to make a switch?
So I always wanted to be a developer, like a developer of that level where I can build whatever I can think of.
Mm-hmm.
So I was not a very brilliant student in my school and even in my college. So I didn't got into IITs or any tier one college. So
Okay.
my college was pretty small, and I only managed to get an offer from a service-based company. We actually don't get to see a lot of product-based companies in my college. So later on, I don't have any other choice to join any other company. So I joined a service-based company, and there then I realized that I can do much better. And what I came to know about is that uh, as a normal a normal engineer into a service-based company, I cannot build a cool applications or go much into depth into really building bigger systems.
Mm-hmm.
So then I decided to actually move into product based companies. So then I came across a lot of different I started googling around, and I came across different platforms which are actually preparing and giving instructions and all. So
Mm-hmm.
my main reason of joining Newton School was because of their ISA program, and the timings also, because the timings were pretty flexible according to my needs, because I'm a working employee. I was doing 9 to 5 job, and I cannot go into a full-time course, so I can only do a part-time course. So that was much suited for my daily routine. So that's why I got into Newton School.
Got it. So you mentioned that you were working a 9 to 5 job, and you also were learning simultaneously, right? Now, a lot of people find this extremely difficult to do. They think that if they are in a 9 to 5 job, their entire almost three-fourths of your day is gone in working in a 9 to 5, and coming back and finding the determination to learn something new is something people struggle with, right? So what kept you motivated, and what is that one tip that you would give anybody who is working and wants to learn simultaneously?
So my story was a bit different, because I gave my Newton School exam when I was abroad. So I was not in India at that time, and I gave my Newton School exam there. So luckily I have my laptop there, so I could give that exam.
Mm-hmm.
So like I was not actually that much determined before I joined it,
Okay,
like before joining, to be frank. So but when I joined, like I couldn't connect in the first class.
got it. I think my internet is. Hello? Hello? I think Alex's internet is um unstable. We'll wait for another 5 minutes and see how that goes. Meanwhile, I'll just give him a call. So, guys, we're extremely sorry, but I don't think Alex's internet is all that good. I'm just going to give him a quick call and get an update from him. Yeah. All right, guys. So, Alek will be here with us in some time. And I want to kind of engage with our audience, right? So, we have 20 people watching as of now. So, anybody who knows Alek, please put in a thumbs up in the comment section. And if you all have any questions for me, please
Yeah,
go
so
ahead.
my next just now.
Yeah, no problem. All right. So we were talking about you being in abroad when you were giving the Newton School
Yeah.
examination, and that you were not that interested, not very convinced in the first go, right? Yeah. So let's take from there.
Yeah, because I was not convinced in the first go because it was a very new startup for me. Like when I saw it, because there were no, like it was the second batch only of Newton School. So what I like, I didn't got into much into Newton School that time. But when I saw the repeat telecast of first lecture where Siddharth sir took our first lecture,
Mm-hmm.
that time he told one thing, and that thing I remember, that you just have to like do this hard work only for 5 to 6 months only, and
Yes.
then your whole life will be set. It will be like already it will be like everything you have ever dreamt of will be came true. So that one thing actually kept motivating me every time. So whenever I feel low, I just go on to that first lecture. I have that that part with me, and I used to watch that part, and there I always listen to that one sentence where you just have to work for 5 months.
Yes. So
So that was one thing that like I was like that keep me pumped up every time. So uh, that I started working very hard because of that only.
okay. So now let's come to the curriculum and the structure of Newton School, right? So what did you expect, and how did it turn out? What was the curriculum like for you, and do you think that anybody who is also a beginner in coding can fit into this curriculum and they can learn?
Yeah, so before joining Newton School, I was not that great in coding. So, I failed in the October batch test, so I couldn't make it to October batch. So I made it to November batch. So I was not that good. So I started coding just with a serious attitude towards coding just a month before joining Newton School. So that time I started coding, and that time I was the like first time I introduced to competitive coding and platforms like HackerRank, HackerEarth, and
Mhm.
then CodeShip and all. So that time I started coding, and after joining Newton School, I was not that good coder, but as soon as I progressed towards the end of the course, I became a very good coder. So the one thing that actually I faced a lot was the fear of the questions that came into the interview rounds. That the first round of interview where you have to give that online coding test. So that was the one thing that was very like a kind of nightmare for me, where like, okay, so this question came, and what if I couldn't solve this question? So that one fear was there. So the curriculum, I felt something like there was 2 weeks of DSA, and then there is 2 weeks of full stack. So it was like it was pretty balanced for me. It was very balanced for me, so that like I can do 2 weeks of DSA, and then I can focus on full stack development. So after like 2 to 3 months, I was very confident that I could solve each and every question of interview.
Okay.
So that was something that came from Newton School. So I think the main thing that came from Newton School was the confidence. So if there is confidence, then I think you can solve whatever question is in front of you. So that confidence building was there. So like my mentors, and especially my mentor, he's from Amazon. So he used
You mentioned.
to my mentor was Shubham Bansal sir. He is an SDE2 at Amazon.
Yeah.
So he used to teach us each and every trick that is required to solve those questions.
Okay.
So it was like a secret sauce he has. So he told us about the secret sauce, and I think that helped a lot. Like I can code like 100 out of 100 in every DSA coding test. So I guess it's one of the best thing that actually ever happened to me. And then there were like instructors were there. So instructors were pretty good. They were from like big MNCs like Zomato and Zomato and all. So I guess it was pretty nice experience, and it was like above my expectation, because I didn't expect it to be learning from these big guys who are like having this like this long experience into product-based companies, and who are like so good into coding and all. So that was something that I didn't expect it from a very infant startup. So it was like pretty above my expectations in every stage.
Yes.
Like mentor sessions were like pretty like extreme. I like mentor sessions a lot.
Okay. So mentor session was your favorite bit, you would say.
Yeah, mentor sessions were my
Okay.
like favorite bit.
And you told me you didn't get selected in the October batch, but then you got
Yeah.
selected in the November batch. So what was the extra effort that you put in, or what did you do differently to get into the October batch?
So when I came to know about Newton School, so it was the first batch, and I applied for the first batch of October, which was the October batch. In that there was this entrance test, so I couldn't clear that entrance test, and I thought of like, okay, so I'm lacking in aptitude, and then I'm again lacking in coding. So what I did is I came to know from Newton School guys only. They contacted me and they told me like, okay, don't worry, there will be another batch will be in November, so you can apply for that batch. Because when I got I didn't got selected, so I contacted them, and they told me like there will be another batch in in November, so you can apply for that. So what I did is I started studying for aptitude to like make my aptitude and coding. So I improved my aptitude a bit, and I did coding for 1 month, and then I again gave the test, and then I cleared it. So luckily I got cleared in November batch, and I like joined November batch.
Cool. I have a fun round, actually, a fun session. We'll take more questions in another 15 minutes, right? In the remaining 15 minutes that we have. So I have a rapid fire round. Okay, so if you don't know what a rapid fire is, I'll ask you a few questions, and whatever comes in your mind first, you're supposed to tell us that.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So these are simple questions, though. The first question is, what is the best part about programming and why? Like, what gives you that rush about programming?
Right now when there is COVID-19, so I'm seeing like everything is online, and then everything we are using Zoom right now, YouTube right now, and every other coding platform, and other things online digitally. So that all things are like made by engineers and programmers out there. So that thing, like they are changing lives right now. So
So code is
that is one.
really
Yeah,
basically.
the coding guys they are changing the lives right now of like millions of people.
Yeah,
And so that was one thing that keep pushing me, so that I can build new stuff and I can improve others life as well.
got it. If you could be doing something else other than programming, what would it be?
I would be traveling the world.
Okay. So you can still do that. You can kind of you can be a digital nomad where you can code and travel, right? So that is also maybe one option who for people who like traveling and programming. Okay,
Mhm.
so the next question is kill, marry, and hook up. Okay, so choose three languages, one that you would kill, one that you would marry, and the other one that you would hook up with. Three languages.
So Java, I will kill definitely.
Why? The reason for
Uh,
that?
I studied Java for 4 years and I couldn't write a single code in Java till now. So that is one language I hate the most. So I will
Okay.
kill Java. I will marry C++. That's the best friend of mine. I do all the competitive coding and every DSA question in C++. And hookup is JavaScript. JavaScript is something like love. So JavaScript is love for me. It's a new language that I learned in Newton School. So it's kind of love for me, new
Got
love.
it. Got it. Describe Newton School in one word.
It's
Take your time.
it's fabulous, I guess.
Sorry?
It's fabulous.
Okay, awesome. And if you could give programming another name, what would it be?
Mm, I cannot think of any answer for this.
Okay, we can come back to this later. So, this is the final question. What would be the one piece of advice you would give a beginner level programmer who doesn't know anything but is passionate about technology and coding? What is that one piece of advice that you would give?
Don't give up. Never ever give up, because there will be stuffs like DP and all. It will be pretty like hard, and you will like think of giving up. Just don't give up, because eventually, like I will tell you one thing. Like there is a saying like if you hang around a barber shop long enough, sooner or later you are going to get a haircut, right?
Yeah,
So that is the same thing with the programming. Sooner or later you will catch that topic and you will be a good developer. So don't
okay.
give up.
All right. So this is the end of the rapid fire round. Now coming back to your journey, right, into making it to Unacademy. Last session we had Nandita, and you and Nandita are like good friends. And she had a question about if a low grade, right, if bad marks matter when you get into the workforce as a programmer. So what is your take on that?
No one saw me. No one saw my marks actually.
Hmm.
So I guess it's pure talent. When you're going for this big companies where they are like product-based companies or like big startups, so they will just. I think they will. Some big companies they don't even like ask for your degrees. They will be just like, okay, so if you're good enough, come to our interview, get all the round clear, and you are done with the job. You will get the job, and you are like you are good to go. So I guess it's not something like you have to be like great at like academics or so, because I was not I was like a average student, so I'm a 6 pointer guy. So I never got more than 6 point a pointer in my life. So I guess if I can do it, anyone can surely do it. It's not about pointers, just about knowledge and the skills you have.
Cool. Uh, there's a lot of laughing emojis going on in the comment section. One person says, "Coffee with Aisha, ma'am." Yeah, it had to be interesting, right? I had to make it interesting. So yeah. Also, Aalekh, now let's come back to Unacademy. So before you got into Unacademy, how many interviews did you give, and how many offers did you get? Let's talk about that now.
Yeah, so I sat into 8 companies, 8 7 8 companies,
Mm-hmm.
and I got offered from 2 companies. One was when I sat for the first time in the first company I got selected, so that was my first offer, and then I got into an academy. So an academy was a long journey, so it's a bit of long journey. In that between that journey, I gave a lot of interviews and I didn't clear those interviews. So
Okay.
it's like every time I failed I learned a new thing. So it's like it made me like much stronger in my future interview round. So it's like because of that I made it to an academy. So it's a very good learning journey. Like I failed a lot of times, a lot of interviews I failed.
Okay. All right. So I have a few questions on Instagram actually that we have for you. I'm gonna take them up for you. One question is, yeah, I don't have any programming experience and I'm in desperate need of a job. Will this course help? That's the
Yeah,
question.
so Yeah, so I am also not a from a programming background. I am from like a computer science engineering branch, but my previous job was not programming. It's a cyber security job. So I was just like monitoring and doing stuff. So it like programming is zero in that job, but still I made it as a software engineer. So I don't think if you're not from programming background, it will make a huge difference. Okay, so like if you know the programming and all the stuffs that are required by the company, like they will take you.
All right. The next question is, how is Newton School course different from college and any other courses that are there on Udemy?
Yeah, so like at uh, at college, what we study is basically a predefined curriculum, and that curriculum, I don't want to say this, but it's pretty old. It's pretty outdated stuff. So companies don't ask that thing right now. They need someone who can like in future they can lead their teams. So they like companies do a future investment in you by taking you as a fresher or maybe as a like as
Yes.
an engineer. So they are doing a future investment on you. So they want to see that guy as a leader, as a great developer in their company in near future. So in colleges we are taught like old subjects which are like pretty outdated, and they are not like usually used these days. We have like the standards of coding and the patterns of coding and designing stuffs are changed right now, and that thing is being taught by Newton School. But what and then there are other online platforms like Udemy or Coursera. These platforms are something like they will teach you just about a single topic. They will not actually prepare you for the interview. They can make you good at a topic, but they cannot prepare for your interview, because in interviews anything can be asked. Anything can be asked. It's like I experienced anything can be asked. Like whether it can be coding, it can be non-coding, it can be something related to like reality, can be related to some hypothesis. They can ask you anything. They can ask you to prove anything in the interview. So it's like that thing is not taught anywhere. So I guess Newton School was something that taught me that, and like that made a huge difference in interviews for me.
Got it. Um, One question is, advice to get into product-based companies for someone who has no bachelor's degree.
Okay, so I'm not sure about this, but I guess uh, like uh, like some of my friends got from October batch got into a good startups without any degree. They don't have a degree; they just have a diploma and all. So I think degree is not important.
Yeah.
I also gave a lot of companies interview where the degree was not a mandatory thing to have. So I think it's a pure knowledge and a pure skill based thing. They want to test it out.
Okay. So there's one question which I will take. Which companies visited Newton School for placement? So I'll name the top three companies. We have Unacademy, we have Topper, and we also have Rapido. So these are the three companies that I can think about right off the bat. So that I hope that answers your question. Uh, and another question is, how do you prepare for an interview as a final year student?
Okay, so I'm not a final year student, but I guess the preparation will be same. Uh, like uh, what I actually do is before like I know that okay, so I am going to be interviewing to this company. So what I do is I actually when I was studying at Newton School, so I prepare all the notes and everything, and I mark all the important points and the points in which I am weak. So at the starting of my course, I was pretty weak in DP and backtracking and all and recursion and all. So I mark all that points, and at the time of interview, I just look at those points because I know whatever other topics are there, I'm already good at it. I
Yeah.
just need to brush up my topics which I feel less confident about. So I only brush up those topics that's pretty much it. Like that's what I do at the last stages of interview.
Okay. The final question would be, what are name three projects that a beginner level programmer can work on to build their portfolio to show in their resume? Three beginner level projects.
Yeah, so like projects are very important thing to actually show your skills. So I
Yeah.
will say that whatever you make, whether it's small or big, because I also made projects which are pretty small and looks pretty easy to make. But the thing is that it's unique. It has like that thing which is not there in other like features and stuff which are not there in other projects or other products which are already been live on the internet. So like be your own and do something creative, whether it's like small or big doesn't matter, just do something creative. think out of the box to build your projects. What others will do is like make a chat application or do something like which is already there. So instead of doing that, because chat application is like pretty big of a topic, you have to like put on like 2 weeks to build that thing. So just think about a new topic, a new thing that you can solve a problem for. Like if there is a problem you can think about, you can just solve it with coding. So just solve it, and then that's a project for you. So it's like just be yourself and unique. So that is one thing that companies look for a guy, because they already know that okay, so if you know coding, you can build whatever you can think of, but whatever you can think of is something they want to see now.
Got it. So basically, putting your ideas into execution and making sure it's unique, right? That's the way to go.
Yeah, yeah, that's it's
All
unique.
right. All right. So one final question I want to ask you. So, when you're in college and if you're not doing well in exams in academics, like when you don't get good marks, your parents always think they are worried for you, right? And I'm sure your parents were too. But when you got placed at Unacademy, how did they react and what did they feel?
So they were pretty happy. They like started celebrating, but because of lockdown, we couldn't go outside for sure. Like so, what my mom did is they made good food for me that day, and they started celebrating at home only. So they were like pretty happy. I never saw my parents that happy, like in past few years. So that made them very happy that because an academy and these things are something like they're looking at looking at that thing at TVs and all, and they want like okay, so my son can also work into these companies like an academy also. So they have this dream. So they always told me like when they came to know that okay, so I'm interviewing an academy, so they told me like work very hard, you have to get into this company somehow, because very few get a chance to interview with these big companies. So they were pretty happy when I got selected. So I guess like uh, it's like a life changer moment for me.
Awesome. So we come towards the end of the session, Alek. Thank you so much for taking your time out on a Sunday and answering a few questions that our audience had. So, Alek, thank you so much, and all the best for your journey with Unacademy and all your future endeavors. Thank you a lot.
Thank you.